So we got our jobs back, asked for my raise. She declined, no restroom break. Sometimes I had to shorten my lunch to go use the restroom at Big Lots. We were not allowed to go behind the constable's door, that door you went into the other day, yesterday, or the day before. We couldn't go. We had no access key cards for that, so we couldn't go back there. We couldn't use the restrooms back there anymore. We had to use the restroom in the lobby, which is not optimal because if you have to sit, you have to remove your gun belt, and it's unsecured essentially. It's dangerous to use the restroom out in public like that. So normally you go to a secure place to use the restroom. As I mentioned, sometimes I have to go next door to Big Lots and cut my break, or not my break, my lunch early so I can use the restroom, because I never knew whether or not I'd be allowed a restroom break. We were instructed that Leo and I were no longer allowed to have our 15-minute breaks that county employees have, that they didn't exist for us, And there was a sheet of paper there, signing a roster, that indicated we were to have 2 15-minute breaks throughout the day. So after I brought that up, that paper was removed from the front. I kept a copy, but that paper was removed from the front lobby and replaced with something else. The walking around, the no patrol vehicle, the no taser. There was something I was about to mention. I forgot. The funeral, we couldn't go back there. We couldn't speak to anybody.
You're talking about access to the building?
Yeah, we didn't have access. Everyone except Leo and I had. We didn't have a key to go in. Everyone has a key, so we had to be there on time or we get written up. And even though we were there on time, they may not come to the front to open the door until 8 o'clock. And we're supposed to be there at 7:45. It'd be raining sometimes, and we'd have to stand out in the rain because there's no awning or anything. You've seen the building. We stand out in the rain, getting wet, or if it was cold, we'd have to stay there. We didn't have a radio. This is a very important tool. We weren't issued a radio. They would bring one out to us when we got to work. We just weren't treated like police officers. Cell phones. There was a special policy made for Leo and I. Of course, it wasn't named Leo and Chris's policy, but we know Sergeant Lorera mentioned, hey, there's a new policy, and I'm going to tell you, it's for you and Leo. We weren't allowed to have our cell phones.
Who told you that?
Sergeant Loretta. We weren't allowed to have our cell phones, so the policy restricted. So this was just for bailiffs and the front door guy. We're not allowed to have cell phones or use cell phones during the course of the day. However, the option was to secure it in your locker behind those locked doors that we didn't have access to, nor did we have an assigned locker. So my option, or our other option, was to leave it in the vehicle. And these iPhones, if you have one ever left in the vehicle, they get hot. So I had to, I bought an ice chest with a cold pack that I had to remember to freeze every night, so I can put my iPhone in another bag so it wouldn't get too cold. Place that bag with an ice pack in an ice chest, so that when I went to lunch, I can check on. Sorry.
That's okay. Do you want to take a break?
The conditions were really bad. Well, we haven't even talked about my medical issues that are caused by this, or the counseling I've sought.
Well, I'm going to get to that. Right now, I'm trying to understand. I know one of them involved you being the next termination, but if there's something else, I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, that was it. I just didn't. I wasn't treated like another deputy. I didn't have wasn't afforded the same freedoms that they had. Other deputies would come and relieve me for lunch, and they'd be sitting there on their cell phone while mine was in the vehicle. One time I did check. I had lunch at KFC. It's right across the street there, and checked out like I had to. And Bella and Castillo showed up, and I was like, oh crap. I was fixing to cut my lunch short. I didn't want to be there with them. And they walked over to me. They looked at one another when they walked in, and then they walked over to me and sat down. And I think she said something like, "How are things going?" I said, "Well, considering the way you're treating me, I guess all right. I have a job now." Castillo said, "Well, it's almost over. We're not going to do this much longer." I don't know what he was referring to. I'm thinking the way the treatment and stuff. I don't know. That's it.